As part of this tutorial, we are going to understand the basic understanding requirements of Scrum, the Agile methodology. So let us look at a problem scenario. What was there in the absence of adoption of Agile in any given environment? So in the given scenario, there is a problem expressed. So we have a problem. Our consumer doesn't like our product. We will have to make changes immediately. So now, as usual, any manager would respond. The manager says, make the changes. So because it's always the changes or anything what we deliver is in the consumer's interest. So keeping consumers' interest in mind, the value which needs to be created for customers, any changes required to be done in any of our projects involving that consumers and customer, we may require to do the change. So, but what is the problem here to do the change? So we can't. We already have started work on last batch. The waterfall model we follow doesn't let changes to be made midway through the process. So is it mean the waterfall model never allows the changes to happen? That is not true 100%. Waterfall model allows us to make changes, but it doesn't allows us to make the changes quickly. So whenever there is a change, it requires a lot of effort. It requires changes in documentation. It asks for the changes in various different implementations which is already done, which is executed already. And then a lot of efforts are involved, which is time consuming. And also it involves more cost. Now, how do we make that change which is required to the customer? And at the same time, we don't have any specific additional effort which are required. So these efforts, whatever is being put is acceptable to both the parties, both the stakeholders, that is the project organization as well as the customer. So how do we make it happen quickly as well? That is very important for us. So we should have used the agile methodologies. So meaning agile methodology helps us to do this. So one of the agile methodologies which we are going to look at as part of this tutorial is Scrum. So let us see how Scrum is going to help the scenario. So scenario of changes which are coming up more frequently, right? Right, so before that, let us understand what is the meaning of agile. What is the meaning of agile, what it means, and why should we adopt agile? So agile means moving faster, being flexible, responding to the changes. Now, agile is a set of methods and practices that focuses on iterative development. Why iterative? In each iterations, agile methodologies helps us to create a working piece of the software product which will help us to make quick corrections to that software piece. This is not a whole product, it is part of that bigger product. So requirements and solutions are obtained thanks to self-organizing cross-functional teams collaborating. So when we say cross-functional team, self-organizing team, so these are the teams which are 7 plus or minus 2, the size of the team what I'm speaking about, who basically have various different skills. Each of the team members will have various different skills and they complement to it. I think today the DevOps is speaking about this cross-functional team owning everything as a single team. Some of the organizations has already demonstrated their DevOps capabilities by having this approach, like having self-organizing and cross-functional team, having an accountability for the entire product, the particular piece of the product module what they have created. So this helps in improving accountability and also ensures better visibility of the product what is being created and delivered. So further, let us look at the advantages of using Agile. So what it gives to us, how it helps. So now the organization who follows the Agile methodologies, so we can see that projects follow a predefined schedule and have a predictable cost. So schedules are seen, but wherever there is a changes required, wherever there is a directions need to be changed in terms of making necessary changes to adopt to the required scenario, the change scenario, Agile helps us. It gives that flexibility. So clients have visibility of each phase of project. So it is very essential whosoever adopts the Agile methodology, the active involvement of customer has to be ensured. So they are actively involved. So customers or clients actively involved in the sense they know it, what is happening, what they are getting, they know. They are acknowledging it by giving the feedbacks every now and then so that there is no surprise to them at the end, which used to happen during waterfall approaches. Then greater interaction between project team and the project. Means there needs to be collaboration. Agile emphasizes on having the collaboration. So Scrum in specific have something called daily Scrum, where 15 minutes meeting, where entire Scrum team should come in, sit together, self-organizing team as well as all that Agile team has to come together, express what they have completed before the last daily Scrum meeting, and what is pending, why is it pending, and what is that they're going to do before the next meeting. So all these are expressed. This will help the team as well as the scrum master as well as the product owner the visibility into what is complete, what needs to be completed, and this will help project manager or scrum master to provide the necessary inputs, better visibility to the customers and stakeholders as well. Product output is predictable and can sometimes happen earlier than expected. So now initially, as we know, so the visibility of anything what we do will be very less. So now as we discuss more and more, as we brainstorm more and more, the visibility into it will become more. Then what would happen in future, the ability to predict will also become easier. And this doesn't happen only with the project team, it also happens with customers and every stakeholders who are involved in the project. So next, high quality development, testing and collaboration is ensured since the project is broken down. So now each iterations, each module, each piece of software which is being created are tested regularly and feedbacks are obtained from the user as well. Active involvement of user are ensured so that they are acknowledging it. So the what customer needs are given. So it is not that I discover something which I did not need. I'm seeing it. I told something, I'm getting something. That scenario is eliminated. Then the product backlog can be refined and reprioritized. So since we move iteration wise, depending on the change scenario, depending on the directions changes, we can keep reordering or reprioritizing our product backlog. What needs to be created first? If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 item, I can make it as 3, 4, 1, 2, 5. So depending on the change scenario, whenever it needs to be executed, it is a bit flexible and easy to do. Then teams can maximize project value since clients can provide project priority. So as we know, the visibility also increases to the consumer as well as all the stakeholders. They will also express what is that value they have seen from this. And this will also help in making a decision, should we continue with this project or should we not? So better visibility, better decision making, better value realization. The needs of the customer can be focused on increasing the value delivered. So as customer gives the feedback, as that visibility increases, then a customer is getting that value and then expressing what is that changes, what is that additionally they may require here, how can make it better. So these interactions can happen. So customer can be focused on increasing the value delivery. So in fact, I think earlier we used to speak about time to market. Today we are speaking about time to value, which means how quickly the consumers, the users or customers realizes the value. Is that benefit realized? So that's what the more and more discussion which is happening, which requires closer collaboration with consumers and their feedbacks, their experiences with the products or services which are being used by them. It is very essential to understand. So then various different methodologies what we have in Agile, we can speak about Scrum, Kanban, Extreme Programming, that is XP, Lean methodologies, the Crystal. So now in this video tutorial, we are actually focusing on Scrum. So let us understand what is this Scrum is all about, right? So before we go and understand what is the Scrum itself, so let us look at the history of Scrum, where it started, how it started. So right down the line during 1986, the name Scrum is first introduced by the management experts Yukujiro Nonaka and Hirotaka Takuchi. So Japanese. So now this terminology was introduced, but later in 1995, Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schubert creates the early version of what would become the agile methodologies. So now earlier 1995, so need for agile was sensed and it was spoken about. I mean, why do we need agile methodologies in future? What would be the future organization which would look like? So that would trigger in terms of what kind of approaches we may require to have. So further 2001, the Agile Alliance is founded and first look on Scrum, the Agile software development with Scrum is published. So then further down the line, 2002, the Scrum Alliance is founded by Weber and certifications are added. Then later 2006, the Scrum Inc. is created. The certified Scrum courses are taught. So people started getting certified on Scrum. Then later 2009, Scrum.org is created, which offers the professionals Scrum series of certifications. Then 2010, the first Scrum guide is published, so which made available to everyone. So from then, I think the more and more people start adopting Scrum methodologies. Now, interesting part is the journey started from 1980s till 2010. Various changes which has happened to this particular methodology. But one thing we should keep in mind is same 20 years back or 15, 20 years back, if we go, the need for agile was not seen. So it was spoken, but need for agile was not spoken much. But today we are speaking about it more and more. The reason is, I think, the change in the market condition, the increase in the competition, the need of responding to the change which is asked by the consumers or the market variations has become more and more important for organizations and service providers. If they don't respond to the change, they may lose out in the competition. So their survival is at stake. So it is very essential for them to understand these dynamics and respond to those scenarios quickly. So that's where the adoption of Agile, the benefit of adopting Agile were realized and Scrum become popular.